Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we have a speed build, and this is the beauty that we are building today. It is a modern home, and I'm calling it the modern home in paradise because I'm building this in Tomarang, which is the new world that we got with the for rent pack, and it is a gorgeous world. Like, it is competing seriously hard with Solani for prettiest world in The Sims 4, I think. So yeah, I'm really enjoying building in this world. It is quite interesting as far as lot sizes and stuff go, but I can sort of understand it with the type of pack that it is, that you don't actually need huge lots because you're kind of going up rather than, you know, spreading out wide so much with this one. Although I guess if you're doing like a little village or something like that, then maybe you want to have more room, but there's lots of lots in the Sims 4 that you can choose from, so I guess you don't have to build in Tomarang, even though you might want to. So I am going modern today, which I haven't done in a while. So I haven't been doing I've been doing like contemporary, but not like modern, like ultra modern with like the flat roofs and yeah, like the sort of the boxy shapes and that sort of thing. So I am excited to get back to my joy of building a modern home. So I'm actually doing something a little bit different. I don't often do platform steps, so I decided I wanted to do those with this build, as you can see here. And it is going to be something a little bit different with the landscaping as well, because I'm kind of doing like a steeped kind of landscaping. So I'm kind of like going up in levels as such. So yeah, it's just a little bit different. So I tried to kind of do a little bit more as far as a garden goes with this modern build. A lot of the modern builds have pretty minimalistic feels to them as far as gardens go. But in this one, I actually did have an inspiration for this build. I know, shock, horror, amazement, but I did. And yeah, in the inspiration, it had like quite a lush, vibrant garden with it, and it was going up, just like I'm going to be doing in this build. It was going up in levels, and I wanted to recreate that because so often I will have, you know, as I mentioned, quite minimalistic builds with the minimalistic gardens with a modern home, because that's kind of the vibe that you do get with a lot of modern homes, is a really minimalistic, sort of simple garden. But in this instance, it was a modern home with a really lush garden, and I was like, oh, you know what, that actually looks super nice, so I want to try and recreate that. So this is what I've attempted to do, and I think I did an all right job of it, but it was a little bit of fussing around with the landscaping and working out how I wanted to do it. I will skip over some of the landscaping that I did. I will show you bits and pieces of it and the creation of it, but it did take me a while and a bit of fussing around to really get the look that I wanted. So I'm combining sort of rocks around the place with sort of, you know, your jungle beachy-esque kind of plants, the kind of stuff that you find in Tomarang. Now I did have to go into debug to get some of these plants because we didn't get any plants with the for rent pack, and I don't understand why. It's one of those things, but anyway, that's fine. I can go into debug, and so I did that and got me some of the beautiful plants that came with the for rent debug. And yeah, just made it super lush and really green and pretty, just to really enhance the home. And I think it's kind of one of those nature technology kind of mashups, you know. I was trying to think of the right word for it. So coming together with the garden, you can sort of see where I'm going with the steeped side of things, how it comes up on levels. I'm going to do like a wall down the side, because when I looked at the inspiration, it kind of had one running down the side, and it makes sense. It felt like it kind of contained it a little bit more. So I'm just going to work on the levels of the garden here and get like a little bit of greenery in there. I found this like one that dropped down, this plant that dropped down in debug. I think that's from the Jungle Adventure pack. And I was like, ooh, you know what? That's actually really nice. So I was like, I'm going to use that because that kind of suits the vibe of the place, you know, sort of jungly beachy. is very Tomarang. And I found some other bits and pieces in debug that I thought would work really nicely. I was trying to just sort of hide the as much of the wall as I could. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. So I'm just about to the end of this section of the landscaping. I will do some other bits and pieces along the side. I'll put like a hedge along there and a few trees and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's essentially the gist of what I'm doing in that area. And then I've just done like a little flower thing along the front of that side of the build. Little mini garden there. I was just trying to find like the right sort of tree and bush that would fit in that area. So just working on that at the moment and end up going with that one there because I didn't have a lot of space. It's actually quite a small lot. What size is it? It's either 20 by 15 or 20 by 30. Not quite sure. But anywho, I didn't have a lot of room, so I just did what I could as far as the trees go. Oh, I needed something to go along the side here, so this is what I'm looking for at the moment. So I was looking for a nice bush to go along here, so I thought this one might do, and then I was scanning through and then I found something else that was even better. It was just like the color of it. I wanted something that kind of matched the shorter bushes on the end there just before you get to the tree, and then I found something that matched it perfectly and I was like, ta-da! That will do perfectly. Thank you very much. So that's it there. Just about to change it. And that's it. Ta-da. I got my ta-da wrong. So just going to use the base game tiling for the tile around the place, added in the letterbox, and I'm going to start to work on the colouring on the building. So the building was actually a white or sort of off-white, so that's what I've gone with there, and I've used the plain base game gravel roofing on the roof. And I'm just going to create like an inset window. So that's going to go in that little space that I've created there. So you can sort of see how it's still got the roof hanging over the top. I'm just going to bring it in by one, and then I'm going to get some windows in there as well. Because that's how it looked in the inspiration. And I'm just copying the inspiration. For once. Sometimes I'm not very good at getting an inspiration and working to it, but in this instance, I actually think I did pretty well in sticking reasonably closely to the inspiration. I mean, obviously it's The Sims 4, so you've got to work around some things that you can't do, but got there in the end. So I'm just putting in the eco lifestyle wall slats because it kind of had something similar to that in the inspiration, so I thought I would copy that. I'm just trying to think. I think I did this as a limited pack build, but I'm not 100%. Did I? That's a good question. I can't remember. I've been doing a lot of building the last few days, so I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what I've done anywhere. It possibly is a limited pack build, but I am not 100% on that. I think I was trying to make it a limited pack, but whether or not I actually succeeded in that, because sometimes I'll like I'll go into a build with the intention that I'm going to do a limited pack, and then I'll have a break or I'll get interrupted, and then I'll forget that I was doing it limited pack, and then that all goes out the window and I start using kits and stuff, and it's like, bye bye limited pack plans. Oh well. So much for that. So I'm just moving around the back now, and I'm going to put in some more of the slats just to kind of reflect what we did around the front. I put in a wall, and then I'll delete the wall from behind, so you can sort of still see through it, but it's like a little private under shelter porch area. So, you know, if there's a thunderstorm or something like that, which I kind of feel like this would have like tropical weather, so it would like have really good weather a lot of the time, but then there's times where it's like the rainy season or whatever, so you're going to want like an area where you can sit under cover and it's still warm, but you can't really go outside, if you know what I mean. So that was kind of my thought around that. So I am just going to work on the edging around the outside of the building. I'm just going to spread that across, just so I've got like a little bit of trim and to bring that together, so that you don't have like the little bits of concrete just sticking out all over the place, you know, cover it up a little bit. I did the fence along that side, and then I was like sticking up, and I was like, yeah, I forgot about that. So no fence along the back, and then I decided that I would just make the roof higher. Solve the problem. So, you know, that's my Velvet solving problems right there. Just it's too low. I'll just make it higher. Da-ding! Problem solved. So just working on the door option for around the back, and that'll be the porch doors that go to the exterior, with the exception of the front door, obviously. And I'm using the growing together windows because the windows that were in the inspiration were black as well, so I wanted to do a similar sort of thing, obviously. And this was as close as I got. And I actually decided to pull out the old patio stuff pack in this one. So I went really hard with the patio stuff pack because I haven't used it in a while, and it's actually a really nice stuff pack. As far as build buy goes, I don't know, I have no idea what the gameplay, if there was any gameplay with it or whatever. There really are some stuff packs there that would, if kits had existed at the time where these stuff packs came out, then they would have been kits and not stuff packs, if you know what I mean. Because if you look at stuff packs like the Paranormal or the Home Chef Hustle, and then you compare them to like the Patio or Cool Kitchen or anything like that, it's just very different. They're very different packs. Because with your Home Chef Hustle and your Paranormal, you get so much gameplay as well. You know, you get aspirations, you get build buy, and it's definitely a lot more bang for your buck. Whereas, you know, some of these stuff packs were really just a bit of CAS and a bit of build buy, and that's really the gist of what these packs were. But I mean, this was in the time before we actually had the kits, so you can sort of understand it. But yeah, just some stuff packs are not equal to other stuff packs, if you know what I mean. So just getting to the end of what I'm going to do in this back area. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I did initially do some of the tall eco lifestyle garden things along there, but they were just kind of blocking the view. I was like, well, that's silly. So ended up just putting the smaller garden pots along there as a garden option, just, you know, so you can have a nice little functional garden, not just a decorative one, which makes it a little bit more useful for players if they're living in here and doing their thing. You'd even rent this out, I guess, because this is going to be like a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom unit. Well, build. It's not designed as a unit, but if you really wanted to use it as a unit, you could definitely rent out the bottom bedroom as an extra bedroom if you wanted to, I guess. But it just doesn't come with a full bathroom. I could only fit like a half bath, so it's only got a sink and a toilet in beside it downstairs. Because this isn't the biggest of builds. It is smaller. I'm just playing around with the stairs because I couldn't get them working in the way that I wanted to. But anyway, got there in the end with that. And I can see there is going to be the kitchen in this area over here with the long windows that I got from the Discover University pack. And then upstairs, just putting the glass around the stairs because for safety reasons. And then I'm just going to work on a bed. So the color palette that I'm going with in this, oh yeah, that's right. I had to think about it. It's like, what was the color palette that I went with in this build? Funnily enough, it's kind of red, black and white. Well, it's kind of more coral-ish black and white. But yeah, I hadn't actually intended on going in the direction of red in this one. But we'll see when we get there what we're going to do. So just getting all the lighting in, and now I'm just going to work on the kitchen. So I think I'm going to go with, do I go with Home Chef Hustle all the way around? I think I do actually. So I think I'm pulling out the old Home Chef Hustle pack. So it's going to be kitchen and dining in one section, and then straight through into living from there. Oh, that's right. I was trying to do limited pack, and then I remembered that I did the Modern Luxe chairs around that table. So I think that's the only kit stuff that I do use. Otherwise, I do keep it pretty limited. So if you do want this and you don't have kits, I'm pretty certain that's the only kit stuff that I use. But unless I go off the walls later in the build. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So you could easily replace the chairs around the dining table if you wanted to. So coming together, I am using black and white furniture because it was like quite a black and white build on the outside. So black, white sort of creams, quite neutral, I guess, colours. But that suits the modern vibe. And then I brought it all together with the wallpaper. So it did take me a little while of fussing around with the wallpaper to work out what I wanted to do, but I did get there in the end. So just using the growing together table on the side. It's actually, if you turn it around, it's quite a nice little thin side table, so quite versatile from that perspective. And also it does fit the modern vibe because it has like the metal trim on it, so yeah, I think that works really nicely there. So I'm just going to build the kitchen, and I actually did manage to fit in like a little breakfast bar beside the dining table as well, so that worked out quite nicely. And then I put the extra window in because I was like, well, you know, you want to have a nice light bright area when you're dining. You can look out the window and have a look at that amazing view. So just getting in the rest of the kitchen. So it's not going to be like a super roomy kitchen. I'm pretty sure I put in top cabinets. So this is me just flicking through and yeah, trying to decide what I want to do as far as cabinets, but I'm just going to stick with the Home Chef hustle. Just do the whole sort of kit and caboodle there, or stuff packing caboodle if you want to go that direction. And rather than using the corner cabinet, because I didn't want to do the shelves, and it's funny because I was so excited about those shelves when it first came out, and now I'm kind of like, when I'm doing like the top cabinets and stuff, I'm like, ah, I don't want to do the shelves. I want to have like cabinets going all the way around. So, you know, that's just typical. So when I put this rug in, this is the first hint that I got that I was going to go to red, because with this build, I had the idea that I wanted to bring in geometric patterns, because I have been building with the for rent pack quite a bit recently for, you know, for reasons, being that the pack's just come out and I'm excited about it. So I was like, you know, why not? I would normally not go hard on the geometric patterns in, well, most builds, if I'm being honest, but you know, I'm actually really enjoying the challenge of them, and I thought, well, you know what, I actually want to bring them into this modern build, and I think it actually can look really cool as a contrast to some of the plainer stuff that you get in a modern build, because it can be more minimalistic. So yeah, I really am enjoying the minimalistic, the geometric patterns, and you'll see that coming through more throughout the rest of the build. And now you can see the red on the wall. So it's not like a red, it's kind of like a corally kind of, it's not quite coral either, it's not quite a pink, but I don't know, it's like a odd red, but it's a nice red, you know. And I think it worked really nicely with bringing a nice amount of warmth to the room, to the house as well, and it worked really nicely with the black, white and cream that I'm bringing through the rest of the build. So you can sort of see my half bath going in there, and then that's going to be a small single bedroom down the bottom. So the first of the 2 bedrooms that will be going in, and there'll be a master bedroom and bathroom upstairs as well. I was trying to find a rug that worked in there, and I was just like, no. And then I just ended up going with something quite plain, and just getting the last little bits and pieces in the bathroom. It was squishy, but we got there in the end. A little bit squishy, but it is a little tiny half bath. I didn't really have room for anything bigger, and it just kind of fit really nicely behind the stairs, and meant that I could still have a decent amount of room in my single bedroom to do something there. So the single bedroom, I ended up going with the Dream Home Decorator bed there, because I thought like that matched the red. So it is that sort of corally red color. It's just not quite as pink as some of the coral reds that you see in the game are, but I think it still blends really nicely with the coral, because you kind of get the coral in the Dream Home Decorator, the Eco Lifestyle, and For Rent. I think For Rent? Yes. Well, definitely Dream Home Decorator and Eco Lifestyle, but yeah, I think there's some coral in the For Rent pack as well. So yeah, those packs seem to work really nicely together. Oh, I was fussing around with that dresser for ages. I just couldn't quite work out what I wanted to do with the space, but anyway, I got there in the end. With it, because I was thinking I want to have like a little, if it's a single room, it kind of like gave me a vibe of someone like that might be either a teenager at high school or a university student perhaps. So, or even if you're working, you know, you kind of want like a little home office as such in your bedroom, or a little entertainment area in your bedroom, where you don't have to, you know, go out and spend time with other people if you don't want to. You just hide away in your bedroom and game, which sounds like heaven to me. So, so I'm just bringing some more of that coral through with the Dream Home Decorator seat, and it is the City Living small single grid desk that I'm doing there. And then I'm just going to do a dresser and a mirror, and I'm going to do some hanging stuff as well. And I was actually really struggling with this build. I remember now because it was this particular bit that I was struggling. I really noticed the struggle anyway. I was having a lot of game building lag, so I know that a lot of other people have mentioned that as well with the for rent pack. It's actually the first time I had it, and I haven't. I logged back out and logged back in later, and then that sort of resolved the lag issue. But I had heard that a lot of people had issues with lag in building after the for rent pack dropped, so I was experiencing some lag. It was quite slow, like me trying to move the mouse and like in that sort of thing, moving my mouse around. It was quite challenging as far as the build went. So yeah, and as you can see here, I have changed the room to green. So that was a bit of out of left field, because I was initially going to just leave it as the coral red, but it ended up being quite a lot of coral red, and I was like, by the time I had the curtains, the bed, and the seat, it was a lot. And because if you look at the bed, there's actually a bit of that soft pastel green on the bed that works really nicely with the coral red. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go green on the walls just to contrast, and I brought in like a darker green, which is also on the bed cover, as the rug, and that's the free. That's the one that we got with my first stuff pet stuff pack. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's the rug that we got with that. So if you were onto it recently, you would have got that pack for free. And I believe the romantic garden stuff pack is free at the moment as well, or it has been free. So hopefully you got that one as well. I actually quite like that stuff pack from the build buy perspective. Once again, I think it's some of those stuff packs that were kind of more like kits than they were like stuff packs, you know, that EA are offering free at the moment. So yeah, my first pets, and then the romantic gardens. I use the romantic gardens. It's got some really nice build buy in it, so yeah. I bought it long ago, so I didn't get it for free. Oh well. That'll serve me right. So I'm just looking for a painting that'll work behind here. I was thinking this one, but I didn't like the purple that was in there. Yeah, it just wasn't quite working for me, so I continued my search for something else that would work behind this build. And I'll get there in the end, as I do. Oh, you know what? Actually, it ended up looking really good. I went with a black and white. And I think that was from the Get Famous pack, that painting. I actually quite like the painting swatches in that. There's some really nice paintings. There's some really ugly paintings, and there's some really nice ones. It's like one or the other. There's like nothing in between. It's like super ugly or really nice. But the black and white ones that are in that swatch are really quite nice. Most of them. I think there's one ugly black and white one, but there's the rest are nice. So I'm just working on this little sitting area. It's just kind of like a little lounge area, just to extend the, I guess, the living room area as such. And I'm just going to do like a little group of plants here. I just wanted to have something on the end, just kind of, I guess, as, oh hello, it's my cat. Hey. to divide the little living area, kitchen area, and just make it, you know, look a little bit more separate. Oh, and I needed a window for here. I decided that I needed a window in behind here. It was just like a little bit too blank, so I went with the, I think it's Discover University. It looks like that window. It's quite a nice little square window. And just using the 4-inch shelf, and what am I going to put in behind here? I can't remember. I feel like it was a plant. I was looking for a plant, and I don't know if I actually put something in there. My cat's being very moochy. He wants some attention. Oh, sweet kitty. Oh yeah, I went with the movie hangout plants, dangling plant things. And I need a rug for in there, so I'm just looking for a suitable rug. And then I found something from Growing Together that worked really nicely with geometric patterns. So I told you, I'm trying very hard with the geometric patterns in this build. So then I'm just going to do a few little bits and pieces in the front entrance area. I thought it was quite neat to do like a half wall there against the stairs. I thought it was something different. Rather than blocking it off entirely, it just sort of, I don't know, I felt like it kept it like still quite open. But you know, you could still do things with that little area. So you can see I've got the mirror hanging up, I've got like the coat rack hanging up. I'm just going to do, I couldn't fit the shoe rack underneath on the side there. It was just like a little bit too long and it was just kind of sticking out. So I was like, I'm just going to have to put like some individual shoes under there. That'll do the trick. You get the gist of what I'm doing there. You get what I'm putting down, right? It's an entrance area where you put your shoes and hang your coats. But I kept it pretty simple. I think I'm going to put like a chair in this corner. So I'm using the Dream Home Decorator chair with the coral and the black and the coral, which is actually quite nice. I was quite a fan. I don't think I've really used that combination much with the black and the coral, so I was very happy with that. And just an island living plant there, if I keep it. I do keep it and put it on that side. And I might put a rug in near the front door. That would seem like I would do that, but maybe I skipped over it, or maybe I didn't. Who knows? But anyway, we're upstairs. And upstairs I am looking for a bed and hopefully finding a bed. There we go. Found a bed. Great. And surprise, surprise, I went with the Dream Home Decorator coral bed. It's definitely a Dream Home Decorator strong build, this one. But you know, what works. And I actually decided to go with a chocolate on the wall upstairs because that works really nicely with the coral. And you can sort of see the brown on the bed, and it just all sort of gels really nicely together. So I decided to do that as a colour on the wall. I'm just looking for a rug that'll go underneath the bed. It just the struggle is actually the size because it's quite a narrow space. I needed something that was quite long and narrow as far as a fit goes. And then I found that rug, and that worked really nicely with the sheets. So I was like, perfect. And then once again, I needed to find a nice narrow end table, so Grown Together. Thank you very much. You solved my little problem, and that works nicely with the sheets again. And then I'm using the Snowy Escape lamps on the side tables, and the chocolate brown, which works with all the colours in the room. So I'm gonna put, what am I gonna do on the end? I think I was actually initially gonna put a couch on the end, and then ended up going in a different direction and did an ottoman. I do like ottomans at the end of the bed. I think that's kind of a logical thing. Oh, and I decided to put some windows in along that wall because it was like a big whole hunk of like blank wall, and I was just like, oh, I don't know what to do with that space. But if I put windows on there, then I can just put curtains along there, and then, you know, that's that space sort of coloured in and covered up, and, you know, that sort of thing. But it seemed like a little bit too much with all the coral curtains running in there, so I actually decided to do, a little bit unusual for me, 2 colours in the curtains. So I've done like a cream and a coral. I don't think I've ever done that in a room before where I've used like 2 different colour curtains, but I think it actually works really nicely. And because it just was too much having the coral all the way through, by breaking it by putting the cream in there, it just meant that it wasn't too much. So in this little corner by the stairs, I am just working out what I'm going to do there. I decided that I am going to put a little chess set there. This is actually my favorite chess set, so I think this came with high school years possibly. But I was initially going to do like the coral chairs, but then once again too much coral, so I went with cream. But I do bring the coral through into the next little section, which is going to be my little study area. So once again, just like we did in the downstairs area, despite the fact that I am playing around with the desk, I do move it along to the study living desk and use the coral Dream Home Decorator chair. Put a little computer in there. Now I did initially look at putting the Growing Together bookshelf there, but just the color wasn't quite right, so I ended up going with the high school years bookshelf, which worked really nicely there. And because I was able to move it over and had a little bit of space, I put the Dream Home Decorator wall lamp there in the coral too. So I have a couple of little spaces here by the door that leads through to the bathroom. So I'm just looking for something narrow that will go in that space by to the left. So I was looking at this log thing. I was just like, that looks weird. I'm not going to do that. No. So yeah, so I wanted something that was going to sit there, and then I was like, hang on, what about the for rent tapestry? So just skipped through to that, shrunk it down one, and ta-da, there we go, we have something for that space. And then I needed something for that space as well, and then the photo frame worked perfectly there. So that is my bedroom done, which means I can now move on to the bathroom. So I just needed to get the colouring for that. I think I actually end up changing the colour of that wall. I'm not sure if I do this during the build or after the build, but I go with the coral coloured Discover University tile, I think it is, in the end. So I don't keep the Home Chef Hustle title. It had too much white in it. By the time I put like the white tiles on the floor and then they had the white tile on top, I decided that was too much white. So that's why I ended up changing the tile. But I'm not 100% whether or not you actually see that in the build or not. But if you download it from the gallery, you could see it there, and you can always download it from the gallery. VelvettB, easy as that. I'm easy to find. I try to be easy to find anyway. And then I was putting the counters in, and I realized that I needed a little bit more space. So I used the island living counters, and then I had to move over the door. So then like the whole tapestry thing where I spent time trying to work that out was a whole waste of time, because I ended up moving the door and not needing it anyhow. But I absolutely love those little counters that we get with island living, because I love the way that they wrap around on the end counters, and like you have the little rattan or rattan, however you pronounce that, drawers there. So I really like those counters. I think I love how sometimes you get counters and they have like different textures and stuff to them on the drawers and stuff, and yeah, the island living just nails it. Plus it's like I got a creamy bottom and a white top, so that's nice too. And I use the Dream Home Decorator mirror there, so you can see that in the coral, and just use base game towel rack with the towels and some bits and pieces on the counter. I think I'm just about done with this build, so we're going to put in the robe and a towel, and then just need a rug. And hey presto, I think we're about done. So just choosing the rug, I was initially thinking of going dark, then I was like, nah, that doesn't quite work. So ended up just going with the base game wider rug there on the bottom in the weave. And this is me changing the color of the walls, so we do get to see that. Yay! So I was initially going to go with the plain, and then use the Discover University coral walls there. And then that's our build. So let's take a tour. So this is the front area, and I think like the lush gardens and the combination of the modern and the lush gardens actually work really well in this world. So I'm really happy with my decision to go there with that. So I think it's quite striking with the black windows and the black trim. It's quite a modern, it's obviously a modern look. That's what I was going for, but it is a modern thing where you sort of trim things in like quite stark modern colors as well, or contrast colors. So now we move into the inside, and you can see my attempts at the geometric patterns on the floor, and I think that works particularly nicely underneath the dining table. So I was really happy with that. And then the kitchen, I kept it really plain and simple. I just didn't add any clutter to that. It just, there wasn't space, and also I felt like it worked better keeping it minimalistic. And then into the spare room, you saw the green, and then upstairs we are into the brown, with mixing with the coral and all the little bits and pieces in the upstairs room. And then we're going to go through to the bathroom now. You can sort of see that there with the coral tiles that we changed over. And then that's our build. I'll sign off now while you guys look at the floor plan. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe even the notification bell. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.